Hi guys, welcome back to Liking Hiking. So this is the third and final installment of what to do when everything goes wrong. So if you haven't watched part 1 and 2, definitely go and watch part 1 and 2. You will know why Kirsty is in a moon boot. And yeah, what happens when you actually set off a PLB. So yeah, bit of a long story. So go and check that out if you haven't already. But I thought that in this third part, we would just go through some of the different devices, the differences between them.
Yeah.
And sort of why we've kind of changed
Style
a bit. So the PLB, Kirsty, if you could hold up the PLB.
Here's our first one.
It's a bit of a bomb at the moment. So they come covered, the button comes covered, but of course it's been used now. So
here it is.
There we go.
So my beautiful, this bit comes, you have to slide a piece off and then you can press the button.
Yeah, so now these come with a 10-year battery life, so it's amazing. But all they do is send off a GPS like ping thing that goes to the search and rescue when they activate everything. So
carefully put it down.
Yeah, I've been so careful with it now. I've just like before this video, I just like shoved it in the cupboard and like put it in like its case and then put it in a box and so yeah, they're a lot cheaper. So
Yes.
battery life lasts 10 years. If you use it, you have to replace the battery. So we're now...
And battery is what, 150 did you say?
Yeah, I think it's around between 100 and 200. However, you have to pay for shipping to ship it off to the place where they...
Put the battery in.
Put the battery in. So... Yeah, it's good. It lasts 10 years, which is a long time. They are around sort of the $300 mark. So they are a bit on the cheaper side for a PLB. So you probably think like, oh my goodness, $300, like that's a lot of money. However, it's worth it. Is it not?
It did its job. I got rescued and they found me exactly where the beacon said I was. So it works.
Yeah, so... It's, yeah, like, I mean, you can't put a price on safety.
No.
So, yeah, and like for us, I guess we're hiking a group, so we can kind of share some of that cost, which does make it a little bit better. So if you have hiking buddies, maybe be like, right, guys, time to cough up.
Yes.
Which I literally think I said after it was set up. I was like, right, guys, time to cough up again. So yeah, that's kind of the PLB. It's basic, but it does its job.
Yes.
So what we switched to, so our issue was you have to send the PLB off to get its battery replaced, which takes, I don't know how long. If you've ever had to get a battery replaced, let me know. And also, could you let me know if they put the plastic cover back on?
I think they picked the plastic cover.
I think I might have it at home.
Yeah, I definitely was laying on the ground and my leave no trace kicked in. I was like, don't forget the cover.
Thank you. So yeah, so if you know, let me know. So the issue was we were going hiking like the following weekend. So Courtney and I, which was the video you saw of the bit that they had already done, that Dutchman's hut type of area. So we were kind of like, we don't have time to
wait for this
battery replacement to come up. And I was like, well, after last weekend, I don't really want to go without one. So I'd already sort of been looking into that a little bit more and some different, I'd heard some different bits and pieces, you know, following other YouTubers and whatnot as you do. So I was kind of like, right, time to fast track that decision. So did quite a bit of research. Actually, I think even once I got home from my first aid course, was already straight into it. Like, okay, what are we going to do next? And we came to the decision to change from a personal locator beacon to a satellite communicator. So we have got the Garmin InReach. So I guess this is kind of like the top type of model. You can use, there's a different brand called the Spot devices. However, they're not as usable as the Garmin. And I thought after our debacle, because obviously when I'm researching this, I'm thinking Kirsty has only sprained her ankle. Yes. So I was not very happy. with their decision-making process. But anyway, so I was like, right, we need something that's simple, everyone can use, and that has that communication link.
It doesn't immediately set off to search and rescue.
Yeah. So I guess we discovered in that situation that communication with the person that needs the help is key.
Yes.
So that you can sort of set the level of response that you need.
Yes.
You know, so if it is really serious, you can get that serious response. If it's not as serious, you can still get that help that you need, but without sort of causing major dramas. So yeah, we've got the Garmin InReach. So this is not a PLB. They are different. This works on a commercial satellite network. Because of that, it's a lot more expensive. It's probably double the price of the PLB. We got ours on sale. I can't believe it. We had 1 week to get it and it went on sale. I was like, win. So, and then you have to pay a subscription. So if your subscription is not activated or it's not up to date, it will not work, even on SOS. So that's something you've got to keep in mind. The battery, when it's off, will last for 3 years, according to their website. So I think that's probably highly likely. I kept it off for a month or so and turned it back on, and it had gone down 0%. They were still on 100%. So, and then when it's on, I worked out with minimal use, so I've turned pretty much everything off or onto manual. It will last about 5 days, which is generally a distance between towns, you would find. Yeah. Otherwise, it is just the USB charge, so all our battery packs or whatnot can charge it. I think we're just making a decision together that we put the charge of this above anything else, obviously. Yes. Like, you know, you can live without a head torch, you can live without a phone.
Yes.
This is what more gets charged first. You know, we make sure we have enough charge for it. Any of you who are sort of older than teenagers will remember the Nokia phones. Brick. It's almost identical. So I've got all the sounds on so that when you're hiking, you can actually hear when it turns on. So to turn it on, you actually have to press turn on. Otherwise, it just will turn off again to stop it accidentally getting turned on and wasting that battery. Yeah. So it's actually very well designed. So I'm not sure if you can see, but basically it looks identical to like the Nokia type phones. You've got your little arrows here, tick, cross, all those bits and pieces. Comes with a massive instruction manual. But what it can do is, I'm just going to turn it off now. So is that you can send text messages. So it's basically a text phone. You can set preset messages like, you know, everything's all good, or everything's all good, I'm running late, you know, or whatever. Or even just like can you arrange to send some local help for me? And you can sort of like preset those messages and send them to different contacts. So it has the ability to, it kind of is the same as the PLB. It's registered to one person. However, in the details section of it, I've just written this is a group device. It may not be the person who owns it using it. Yeah. So it does have the SOS button here. This is not a button, this is a cover of the button. So like that's the button in there. So there's no accidental pressing of the button, which is good, obviously. And then this gets sent off to a different company. It doesn't get sent straight to the AMSA or whatever they are, the Search and Rescue People for Australia. And they will actually send you a message being like, what's the nature of your emergency? And you can just text back. Depending on the plan you select, text can be different amounts, but you link it up to your credit card or whatever. So if you're in an emergency, you can send as many texts as you need. It's just going to take the money out of your card later, which, you know, it's like 50 cents a message, I think. Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of like using a normal phone. It's really, you know, in an emergency, when you send 10 messages, that's going to be $5. Ooh.
I would rather be rescued.
Yeah. So, it just has a lot more functions. So it's got, you can check the weather, you can, let people know that you're safe every night, if that's something you want to do. You can sort of, it's a lot more versatile, I guess. And it does give that link of communication. So you can't call anyone. So, you couldn't have called the SES if you had this. However, you could have texted someone and said, can you call the SES? I'm here. And this will always send your location with the message. So, which is great because it allows, anyone to be able to be like, yep, that's where you are.
We're coming.
We're coming. So, yeah, it just is so much more versatile. Obviously, it does come at that extra cost. I have heard, and I'm not 100% sure, that sometimes if you're in that real serious I need rescuing now emergency, it might be a bit lengthier because it goes to the commercial company, then they send it to the search and rescue people. I assume because it goes to a commercial company, there would be quite a cost involved with being rescued.
Yeah.
However, if you need rescuing, cost is not something that should really matter. So because of that, what we're thinking is we probably will get the battery replaced in the PLB, because obviously that's a lot faster and more precise at getting that fast rescue response.
Yeah, it's immediate.
Yeah, and then, if we are in the group that splits again,
we have two.
You have two, so we are a bit of a larger group, sort of generally around 4 to 6 people, depending on who's available on the weekend. So, yeah, I think that's our plans for the future, which will come in quite handy. But yeah, hopefully we'll do a bit more of a review on the Garmin InReach at a later date once I know a bit more about it. I still only know the basics of how to use it. Obviously having to go out in a rush and sort of purchase it the week of and setting it up. Oh my goodness. So you set it up through the Garmin website, but it's not the same as the other Garmin devices that they do, the maps and things like that. This one apparently is not as good at maps. It does have all the maps and that you can put on it. However, the website was suffering some issues. I don't know if it was a maintenance thing or what, but it would not connect. And I was like working full time. We had 2 days, and it just, I ended up giving it to Courtney and she tried and it just wasn't working. So we actually left with it not officially registered. But we did have that better phone reception then, so it wasn't a huge issue. And I think it was the Saturday. Whenever we were up the top of that hill, that castle, we tried it at the castle.
The phone tower.
The phone tower.
Mount Arden.
Mount Arden, we tried again and it worked super easy, and their website was all fixed. So I guess it was a website issue. But when you've actually activated it for the first time or activated that subscription, the website has nothing to do with it anymore. So the website being down will not be
a problem,
an issue. But what do you think, Kirsty? Do you think, like, in your situation, what would you have preferred having and using?
Well, I definitely, if I had known that there was like a step before setting off the personal locator beacon, which I'm not sure why I didn't know, but I didn't, that would have been handy because, the rest of me was, and apart from a slight skin on my elbow, the rest of me was perfectly fine. Like, I hadn't even hit my head while falling. It was all localized in my foot. So, they could put me in a four-wheel drive and take me out. But being able to communicate that, I'm mostly okay, can't walk, would have been very handy. So I definitely think that'll be handy in the future. But both of them worked. If I had had more phone reception or more battery, I think I'll make more of a point of not having such a low battery in future. I'm not sure how, but we'll try that out. I think it would have been a lot easier, because if I could have called Shell myself, that would have been better. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. You can't change the past. And you are safe and well, and
Yes.
that's what's most important. But yeah, so if you've had any sort of experiences with either of these devices, not setting them off on emergency, even just using the Garmin. Do you have a Garmin InReach? Do you have the Spot device, and how do you find that? Let us know in the comments down below. I will link some different websites up where you can purchase either one of these devices, and sort of you can see for yourself, but definitely do some research before you just go in and get a PLB, and really think like where you're hiking, and what sort of which device is going to work best for you. So if you're hiking a well-known trail like the Hyson, do you really need a PLB because you're always going to be on or near the trail? You might be better off with a Garmin, or are you sort of on a tighter budget and you just need something that is for emergencies, and you want something that's going to last 10 years.
The peace of mind, like knowing that I could set it off and be rescued, and it didn't matter that I was on low phone battery, was good. I was like, we don't have to stress, people are coming, and we just have to wait to be rescued. It was nice knowing that.
Yeah, I guess as well, with this one, the Garmin, you have to make sure that it's charged, and it's not going to last as long when you set it off for emergency as the PLB would. So I guess it's more important, if it's safe to do so, to not move with the PLB if you've set it off for SOS. Unless you have to. It's not safe to stay in your environment. Just so that if it does go flat, you're still in that same
area
spot. So I think as well that is good to have both. So if we did have to use the SOS on this one, we could communicate what the issue was, but then it went flat, we can set off the next one. And by then, the search and rescue people for that country would have already got our information. So I do have to put in a little bit more research, and let me know if you know. As far as I'm aware, you can use both of these devices in different countries, because obviously that's something that we're thinking of, going to England soon, and hopefully some other international places. Let me know if you know more about it. I have read a little bit. So as far as I know, you can use them in different countries, provided that country allows these satellite devices. So some countries are like, no. As well as some airlines may not let you fly, especially with the PLB one. Because if it goes off, that's kind of bad. Just check as well with any airlines or countries that you're going to that it is allowed. And definitely research, what response is actually going to come from each one, so that you're prepared and to hit it off at the
I think
right time.
Before I'd used the PLB, I thought that it called the SES, but
which I guess is kind of my fault, because I didn't really pass on that information as well as I could have. Obviously, emergency is different for every person, which is something when you're reading about when to press it, you will find online that, emergency is different for different people. So people reach that decision point at different times. It's probably worth having a pretty good conversation with whoever you're going with beforehand, and just being like, okay, what do we think an emergency is? What scenarios? Do we all know to remember to try and use our phones first? And pretty much exhaust any other way of getting yourself out of the situation. It's a last resort. But I guess the Garmin gives you a few more options of getting yourself out of the situation without a last resort response. So I think that's sort of why we've gone with that for the future. But
hopefully we never need to use it.
I hope so. At least the Garmin we can use still, even if it's not an emergency. So we'll still get some use out of it. So yeah, that's kind of the wrap up of our 3-part series, the what to do when everything goes wrong. Hopefully you've learnt from our mistakes so that you don't repeat them. And
also take care when walking down shallow hills, because apparently they're more dangerous than the steep ones.
Yeah, so...
And I think I might get me some boots so my ankles can't turn.
Fair enough. Yep, I haven't had the best experience with boots, but it's whatever works for each person, I think.
I don't know, if I go get properly fitted when my foot is returned to its normal size.
Yeah. So hopefully we've given you a bit more information about what actually happens when you have to use these devices. I think, getting that insider knowledge might actually help you in the future if you have to make that decision. But yeah, this isn't supposed to be all doom and gloom. These things are there as the backup so that you can go wherever you want and you can hike, those trails where there is no phone reception, or, some of those more cross-country navigation type things, and that you're not going to get too stuck. I mean, hiking is dangerous, but this sort of brings down that danger level a little bit.
And I got an awesome story to tell everyone for the rest of my life now.
That's it. The worst days become the best stories. So as you can sort of see, I kind of was like, right, we're doing this now. So yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your somewhat maybe still a little bit embarrassing story to the rest of the world.
Yes.
And yeah, will you keep liking hiking?
I will. I will be back on the trail as soon as my foot is capable of walking.
No worries. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you next time. Hopefully, we'll be getting some content from England and the UK soon. So keep an eye out for that. That should be along shortly. And yeah, as always, keep on liking hiking.